Content warnings for this interview include mentioning the Romani genocide within the context of the Holocaust, mentions about colonialization, homelessness, talks about sexual workers. Your safety and comfort are important. If you'd rather not engage with these topics right now, that's fine. Take care of yourself. Maybe consider our other panels, interviews, or actual plays from our YouTube channel, youtube.com/at EUphoriaAP. Better yet, check out a talk Fabian did in May 2026 about taking inspiration from folklore during our first EUphoriaCon. Hello and welcome to EUphoria. We're a community dedicated to spotlighting the diverse talent of TTRPG creatives based in Europe. My name is Aida. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a Latina queer woman of color. I'm based in the Netherlands. I have tan skin, dark eyes, dark wavy hair, and I'm wearing a spotted animal tank top print. And I am joined with my fabulous friend, Fabian. Hi, can I get a self introduction, please?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Ida. My name is Fabian Blake, and my pronouns are he, him. I'm a Romani TTRPG creator and editor and sensitivity reader. I've got light olive skin, hazel eyes, dark short hair, and I'm wearing a fluorescent green and pink Cramps t-shirt.
Thank you so much for being here. Your self introduction, your professional was very succinct because you have worked on quite a few projects, some that we've covered here at EUphoria. Uh, Come on, wave them proudly. What are the professional works you've been on?
Okay, well, I've been like working in the TTRPG industry for about over 20 years now, actually. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like a blink of an eye. So yeah, I have got quite a few games out there under my belt that you can find on Itch, and you can find them um, more recently on RPG Trader. It's just started up, so trying to get that community going over there as well. Most of my games that I design myself are inspired by my own culture, which is obviously Romani traveller culture, um, because my passion is folklore and preserving it in the context of my own lived experience and the experiences of my community and its history.
No, that's beautiful. And you were so kind to lend your time to the EUphoria Con last season, where you talked about bringing how one should bring their own culture and their own ethnic background into storytelling. And I thought that was well done. Everyone should give that a watch, of course. But I'm curious because you express yourself as a storyteller due to your background, due to your heritage. But when did the structured idea of the mechanized tabletop role playing game come into it? Because uh, you have a legacy of having that done. But here, other people that say, oh, actually, we have our own thing here, and now we're together. How did you meld the two?
Okay, so I guess the best way to describe that is two passions, two things that were separate parts of my life in a very, very, very big way, um, slowly coming together. So it wasn't like a one day big epiphany moment, it was more of a slow moving together. So, the obviously the storytelling aspect. I was raised with that. My dad was a storyteller. I was about 7, I think, or 8 years old, so very young. Um, then we have a tradition where the mantle can be passed on to younger members of the community as a choice. It's explained to you the gravitas of making that choice to keep and preserve the stories that have been handed down to you, because our stories, our tales, they are not written in books. You can't pick up a Grimm's fairy tales version of Romany stories. It's all oral, it's all passed down, and different families, different tribes, but also different families within the same tribe have our own bank of personal tales. So, in a way, you're preserving the larger tales that may cross oceans, may cross generations, but also in that more minutiae way, your sort of microclimate where you are preserving your own family's
Mhm.
stories. And also you're encouraged to add to those as well by making up new ones and relevant ones and riffing off the old ones and building on the tradition. So it really is a living concept. It's something that is alive and growing all of the time. So already had that, and that led me to eventually studying writing and folklore in particular, and going into that more from the side of storytelling, going round to festivals and events and things, and sharing stories and doing puppet shows and stuff like that. Um, and then at a tangent to that was the love and the passion for tabletop role playing games that I had as a hobby, and it wasn't really necessarily considered um, in my mind how the one was impacting the other, although it obviously was. So yeah, I think they just sort of moved slowly together. I started actually editing other people's TTRPGs and going, oh yeah, I'm a writer, I'm a trained editor. I've got that under my belt. You know, I've edited novels. I could edit your games for you. Yeah, added that to my belt. And a few friends just started to say to me, "You've been doing this a long time. You could make your own games as well. Did you ever think about that?" And I was like, no, 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 no. So that took a lot of confidence. And my first, like, I started making, like, tentatively making supplements for other IPs, you know, like D&D. And then um I don't know if you remember, if anyone watching this remembers the whole Fishblade thing, when that sort of erupted with the Dungeons and Dragons SRD and the
Yeah,
clamping.
yeah.
Yeah. And there was a lot of silliness around making a game, a storytelling game, a collaborative storytelling game where everyone controls one fish with a blade. And it was said as a derogatory jibe at us as a community. It's like, well, if you don't play D&D, you're just going to be playing this rubbish Fishblade game. And
Mm.
so we had a game jam called the Fishblade Game Jam. Um, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. I'll write a Fishblade game, you know? And it was rubbish, of course, but it was so much fun that then that's what made me sort of cross the hurdle into publishing my own actual games, I think. So I think it's about 6 years ago.
Yeah, everyone has to start somewhere,
Mhm.
and based on the few games that I've seen and gotten to, I haven't gotten to play that many games. I'm usually on this end producing, but I feel like I'm at the table
Awesome.
because I'm so close. For example, I think the last project was Asher's Ridge, which was a wonderful game, a very innovative way of storytelling, and you were at that table as well. And I just got to see how you crafted that story, and I was just like so enamored with that game, with that one shot.
It was
And
wonderful. We
it
had
was
such a good
lovely.
time.
Such a lovely team. And I also loved how you saw like that snipe being had and you absolutely transformed it. You made it your own and you sort of removed that. Uh, I'm projecting. That sniping power was sort of removed from it and like, no, it's mine now to snipe back.
I think I do that with games. I think I actually, I mean, I think it harps back to, I think you've hit on something. It harps back to how I started playing role play games in the first place,
Mhm.
which is I was homeless as a teenager, and we had some wonderful people in the homeless community that were really heavily into role play games
Mm.
and used to make a point of getting us all together and running them, whether it was on in a squat or on a rooftop or wherever we were. We would play something at um, any given moment, really. But obviously, these things were stripped down
Mhm,
because
mhm.
you've not got character sheets, you've not got handouts. Um, Sometimes you've not even got dice. You're just improvising. Like we would sometimes rip up little bits of paper and write the numbers on them and then put them in a Coke can and then just shake one out or something like that to get the number.
Sure.
So you're stripping a game down to what what is it in its essence? You know, if you take everything down to it, what do I need to actually play this game? And then you're just using those bare bones. And I think, as you said, you've sniped it. You've what's the word I'm looking for? Like born into the heart of the game
Mhm, mhm.
and said, this is what it is in its essence, and the rest of it is what I'm bringing to the table. If that makes sense.
No, that absolutely makes sense. As soon as you said that, I imagine like the values I distill from the collective role playing experience are vulnerability, imagination, collaboration, or even just honesty, because sometimes we play fantasy characters, but sometimes we get into their heads and we're like, oh, why am I making this person, this fake fantasy person, lie to themselves? Is this an analogy for myself? And then you sort of get in your head and you go in this wonderful complicated journey. And that's all games can be, whether or not you have polyhedral dice and cutouts and painted minis with rulers and everything.
Absolutely. You're sort of talking about bleed there, and I know it can be controversial
Mhm.
because obviously, unwanted bleed is bad. You don't want
Correct.
to be thrust into your trauma without. Yeah, that's why we have lines and veils and things. But intuitive and intentional bleed, where you are um, processing and what's the other word I'm looking for? Uh, Engaging with
Mhm.
and yeah, processing and engaging with the things that you are dealing with in real life or potentially could deal with in real life. Seeing being able to explore those things in a safe environment with people you trust
Yeah, with
is
full consent, absolutely.
exactly, it's a valuable thing.
It
So
is. And one thing I particularly loved when I went back and rewatched your talk on the topic was how you distilled it down into passion, perspective, and preservation, that are the things that when one brings their own cultural heritage into a game, uh, at least your way of bringing them full chest out front. And I think very importantly, you mentioned, and this hit very personally for me in a positive way, like it has to be for yourself. Yes, I am from Latin America, from South America. My family's from Bolivia. And Bolivia has a very strong indigenous identity, even though it is a region that is very complicated because of colonialism, European influences. Are you indigenous? Are you not? Are you in the middle? How dark is your skin? What languages do you speak? And it's all embroiled in this. And one way that at least my family, or rather in Bolivia, we express ourselves through storytelling is through folkloric dancing. There have been a lot of horrendous things that happened during colonialism that still affect the people today, still affect the nation today, in terms of its development, in terms of educational levels, in terms of financial opportunity, in terms of just trust within the people. But the one thing that I can say as a Bolivian that folklore dance does is that we sort of take these experiences, even the traumatic ones, and we transform them either to critique them, but we dance that as a celebration, or we distill that this happened, but there was strength in there. And we're going to project that strength even while wearing costumes that harken to those days. Um, One example I can immediately give is there is this one folkloric dance called Diablada. It literally means the devils. And it's a dance where a lot of Bolivians will say it's about good versus evil. It's about how we are sinners. It's a very Christian Catholic country nowadays. Therefore, it is our subjugation to the Hebraic God and all these other things. We are devils. We are dancing in piety for religion, etc. However, when I see the dance, I see people dressed up as devils, which is the costume, the outfit, but the masks have pale skin. They have giant, bulbous blue and green eyes. They have wild red and orange and yellow hair. They have epaulets. They have handkerchiefs. They have leather boots. They're dressing like the Spaniards. They're dressing like the colonialists.
Absolutely.
And what I find the most ironic about, like, oh, it's a good and evil, it's about God and the devil. The person that leads the parade of the devils is someone dressed as an archangel. So I'm like, yes, that's not wrong. But I also saw how colonists used religion to justify what they were doing. So they actually invited the devils, the colonists, in.
Absolutely.
So that sort of experience was now made into this stance of joy, dignity, and power, whereas our forebears did not always have that. And that's at least I don't know what the TTRPG scene is like in Bolivia, but the storytelling, it's through our feet, it's through very loud music, it's through bombastic costumes. So, when you were talking about doing it for yourself or doing it for an audience, yeah, we like a party, we like a show, and we like to project soft power, but doing it for yourself, as you mentioned, like really personally hit. And I wanted to also like greedily spend some time to say thank you for your wonderful words.
I'm overjoyed listening to you that something that I said that's personal to me became so personal to you
Mhm,
as well. That's a really emotional moment for me. And I think it just shows real like solidarity across indigenous and oppressed
mhm.
cultures that have suffered the effects of colonialism and things like that. That we can, those experiences and those thoughts and those feelings can resonate. And then we can support each other through the mediums that we're enjoying, even like it's TTRPGs.
Mhm.
How is that related? Oh my gosh, no, it is related because we have that shared
Yeah,
experience.
it got us in the room together, figuratively,
Exactly. Exactly. That's it.
this
And
digital room.
then thank you in return for hosting these talks and these opportunities to discuss it amongst ourselves because we're obviously benefiting from this conversation. Me and you, I know I am. But
You're very, very welcome.
for the audience as well, it's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
a-
it's wonderful.
And,
Yeah,
and, and that
Uma,
was
sorry.
absolutely a similarity. I saw how uh, our ancestors, or not too many generations ago, went through things, and we don't have to only consider, oh, how brave you were, oh, what a hero you are. Yes, we carry these things, but they have to be to embolden ourselves to step forward, and we have to find, if we don't always find joy, we have to find, it's our right to find what we want from to find from it.
Yes, yes, air punch. Yes, exactly. Because we are not producing something for somebody else to consume. We are not delivering to anyone else. We are just sitting in our lived experience, playing games in our lived experience, writing, creating in our lived experience. And it doesn't need to be any more than that. Because I
Absolutely.
have to be real and say, white people don't do any more than that.
A lot don't. A lot don't. A lot don't.
Collectively.
Mhm.
It, you know,
It's
we have a right to be us and just to do things for us.
Mhm.
So it's all good. It's all very, very good. Um,
It's extremely good.
I was gonna mention another game actually as you're talking because um, the other game that I wrote, Tonight We Dance,
Mhm.
is basically everything that you've just described
Mm.
there. It is just about a group of people who are. I wanted to remove any cultural markers from it, although obviously it's written as a Romani person
Yeah.
from Roman experience. But I removed cultural markers from it apart from the art because I wanted it to be anyone can come and engage with this game.
Mhm.
But essentially, it is saying we are a group of people first. We are our relationships with each other and our feelings of our own first, and not defined by our oppressors, not defined by the world outside or what it thinks of us. And tonight we dance for any reason we feel like, whatever, as defiance, as anger, as joy, if we
Yeah.
want. but not performing for people. Our dance is for us. So
Absolutely. And it is wonderful for people to relate to the stories they hear or the games they're playing, which I'm projecting. I assume that's why the decision was made. But sometimes it's good to just listen, appreciate, and empathize. And that's going to bring me hopefully to your game, The Field of Flowers, in memory of the Roma Holocaust that we're sort of here to discuss a bit. Um, I was going to ask why you wrote it, but that feels like such a reductive question because I know, and I think our dear friends know. First of all, we are pre-recording this, but we are streaming this during the 2 days that is covering the that honors Roma Holocaust Memorial, and we are also promoting a wonderful charity called Traveler Pride, and links will be provided in the description in chat. If you have anything to give, please consider giving. Links to exactly how they work, the umbrella of people they support, I think is very worth your curiosity. And if you have the funds to spare, that as well. But we'll hold on a bit of their work because I want to get to the game you wrote specifically. So, has this game sort of sat in a corner of a book, of a notebook in your heart somewhere? Or did it spontaneously come out? What sparked the putting this paper this pa- what sparked the putting this game down on paper?
okay, so it was a bit of both,
Mhm.
really. As I feel like that's my answer to everything. A bit of both.
That's true too.
I think that I'd wanted for the longest time to write something that was a response to I'm gonna just cut and be honest and just say I was just carrying a lot of rage
Mhm.
that the Roma suffering during the Holocaust is not widely acknowledged. That we didn't even get an official acknowledgement of the they estimate 500,000 Roma who were murdered in the gas chambers during the Holocaust. And that wasn't officially acknowledged until 1987. Although, as Roma families and Sinti families who went through that, um, our story keepers were carrying that orally. But officially on the world stage and on pieces of official paper, that was not acknowledged until the 80s. So there's a lot of rage there. But every time I came to put pen to paper and I thought of people engaging who weren't Roma and who were Roma as well, but with what I was about to write, nothing that I was putting to paper was what I wanted to put into somebody else's hands. It was cathartic for me to write from a place of rage. But then everything that I was writing, it went in the circular file afterwards. I was like, no, that was good for me, but that's not going to see the light of day. No, that's not
Valid.
what
That's absolutely important to have too every now and then.
absolutely. Like, sometimes I write a solo game and I play it and I'm like, that's great. Yeah, bye. That's done. But that's what catharsis is, isn't it? So it took, yeah, a long time to find um the right way to engage with this and to bring it to the stage in a way that other people can engage with as well. And that we were talking earlier about the three pillars that I use when I'm bringing a folktale to the table for others to play as a TTRPG. And this comes into perspective because the perspective I was bringing was a perspective of rage, and I didn't want to bring that to the table. So it was the poem, which is called Sunflowers, and it's by Romani Holocaust survivor Shea Stoiker, and uh, is a beautiful poem. And the essence of it is a quote that she says, the rose, because often the rose is, people think the rose is associated with Romani people. I'm not quite sure why they think that, but it's something that media and the world stage seems to have linked to us. We're often shown with red roses, or red roses on our clothing, or roses around us, and
Hmm.
that's been around for a long, long time. But it's not chosen by us; it's something people have put onto us.
Maybe cheap
And
alliteration.
yeah, and she said that the rose makes us weep, but the sunflower makes us laugh. Because the sunflower is always growing towards the sun. It's always seeking the light. It will turn its head to seek whatever little light you give it. And that, she said, is a better symbol for the Romani people. And so that joy in that poem from that girl who survived the gas chambers and walked out of there. And I can give you a link to her art if you want to, so people
Okay,
can look at it
lovely.
if you want to. Um, a heads up, obviously, some of it is a response to her time in the gas chambers, so some of it is upsetting art to look at.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is flowers and fields of flowers and Romani Vardos and Romani people just enjoying the sun and enjoying the flowers and working and living. And so if you can stomach the more difficult artwork to look at, I would encourage you to look at her art and see the joy that she brought out of that terrible experience. And it was seeing her artwork and reading her poetry made me realize that the right response to bring to this, to bring to the stage for this,
Yeah.
is a joyful response. Not from a place of rage, but from a place of power, of joy, of resilience, of strength, of survival. And not a toxic positivity of, oh, let's be happy no matter what happens to us, you know?
No, thank you. That's exhausting.
Yeah, exactly. And so often that is something that is very disgustingly attributed to Romani people, is that no matter what life throws at them, they sing, they dance, look at them. It's just really toxic. And I didn't want to put anything onto paper that would carry water for that idea. But it's about acknowledging, yes, terrible things happened. Yes, we lost people, but let's celebrate the good things that we had, the special and amazing lives that they lived, and the joy that we have in surviving and what we can do strength wise as a community going forward. So that is what the game is about in its essence. And that is the inspiration behind it, if that makes sense.
So, just to be a bit literal, we started at a place of, your words, a place of rage. We started out hard, brittle, enclosed, like that seed, like a literal seed. And then reading that poetry, seeing the art brought you to a nourishing place. You got your soil, you got some water, got some warmth. And then from there, that flower grew.
Aida, that's beautiful.
No, your game is, and you are.
Oh, you are. Thank you.
No, and it is literally indeed about that as well. The game invites a small group of players to use a deck of cards and consider filling out a story, um, paralleling what happens in Roma modern history, but it's not exclusively about that. We're not inviting people to pretend like they were Roma Romani. We are not inviting people to pretend role play, consider a part in the Holocaust, that in their facts one existed. Uh, we are inviting them to consider that this happened and these emotions came from that place, but we're not inviting them to walk in those shoes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Because I don't think good things can come from that kind of um, role playing unless you are very intentional,
Mhm.
very intentional. And obviously, you can't control what people are going to do with a game that you just put out there into people's hands. So I wanted to make sure it was a safe experience as well as an authentic experience.
Mhm, mhm. You did the thing that I love, that many games don't do, big or small, mention safety tools. Just mention the term safety tools, mention an example of safety tools. It takes 2 sentences, you dedicated a nice big chunk to it. So the concern for safety is upfront as well. So I really appreciate that you and game designers like you do that. Game designers, please mention, literally type it out, safety tools, and a quick explanation on how to use them. It takes 2 sentences, three maybe, if you're verbose. So I encourage everyone to check out the game. It is called A Field of Sunflowers in memory of the Roma Holocaust. Links will be provided in the description below. And not just because it's a lovely game, but because it's also part of a fundraiser that is going for the charity that is Traveler Pride.
You.
Yes, and that's all because of the 2 days. That will be August 2nd and 3rd. But the whole month of August, as you've explained to me, thank you for informing me about that. That we'll have the links up so people can consider donating if they have the means. And a bit about Traveler Pride. You were explaining to me that there is a wider umbrella of traveler Romani community and other subsects of people identifying, but under a broader umbrella, and specifically those that are LGBTQIA plus 2A as well, 2S as well, pardon me, and how this charity supports them as well. And I'm looking at their about page, that they're looking to make places more welcoming to queer people within them by acknowledging their own cultures, by acknowledging the contributions of ancestors, and to encourage that contributions in the present are recognized as well. And I think that is a lovely goal to work for. I think that seems to be one that is well needed across wherever they are present.
Yeah, it's about multi marginalization and the recognition of that, um, and empowering people who are experiencing that. So,
They have meetups at multiple locations. I see some in London. They immediately consider accessibility purposes. They immediately inform people about here's what the washroom situation will be like, which is an unfortunate consideration one has to make, but good on them for being upfront with that as well. And I really hope that they do get some funds that they need to continue on their mission. It's really important for them.
mm,
So
they
by
also do care packages as well. I don't know if it says on there at the minute, but of binders and things like that that they send out for free to people who need them, because obviously living a traveling lifestyle as well can be prohibitive to getting the resources that you need as well.
Mhm.
So that's another piece of vital work that they've been doing.
That's wonderful, and how to say this? I wish their mission wasn't as needed. We all wish that for anyone who experiences those sort of marginalizations, but I'm glad that they're stepping in and hope we can do a little bit at least to help them out. And especially with the importance of your game and the message that you're sort of bundling, we are more than the persecutions we've experienced. And this is applicable to like any marginalized community. We are more than those things we experience. And we're not here to forget about them. We're not here to say, oh, they've made us stronger. Thank goodness went through them. No, this is not Game of Thrones. I hated that season episode arc so much. Um, but we get to choose when we want to feel wrath, and you went through that and you processed your feelings, but we also get to choose how and when we transform that into joy. And I'm very grateful that you decided to transform that into something that invite people in a very consciously safe open space.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's something for myself as well as for
Mhm.
everyone else as well. So hopefully people will enjoy it and find it, um, you know, useful to themselves as well.
No, that's lovely. Thank you again for sharing that with us. Is there anything else we should touch on?
I think we've pretty much covered everything. So I
We
think I
are
might have covered a bit too much and kept you talking too long.
No, we are so efficient. I had a lovely time here. So the links will be up for most of the month. We're going to keep on reposting them. So anyone that can provide anything, or even just reposting, talking about it also garners more attention for, the friends or other accounts that might have more disposable income. That's also really helpful. And absolutely check out A Field of Flowers in memory of Roma Holocaust, and check out all the games by Fabian Blake, which will be listed down below in his links as well. Is there any other project beyond the month of August that we should keep an eye out? Any other game that you're allowed to talk about that we should consider?
Um, Let me see. What am I working on at the minute that will be coming out? I'm hoping that by the time this comes out, I will have made finished making my game that I'm working on for Steph's Romantasy game jam that
Mm.
everyone's making a game for. So I'm really hoping that I can add my game that I'm making, which is called Magnificent Bastards, and it is my first attempt at a romantasy game. So,
Ooh.
um, yeah, it would be nice if people check that out if I've managed to get it done in time, because it's new territory for me. It's new territory, and the adventure that I'm writing to go with it is based on a nice, juicy little piece of London folklore,
Mm.
um, to do with toshes, if anyone knows what toshes are.
I don't. Do I need to
Okay,
Google that?
so tushes are great. They're one of my favorite aspects of sort of Victorian London life. And they are the people who used to go down into the sewers and on the banks of the Thames and slough through the slush to find the rings and the jewelry and the watches and the things that had been
Mm.
dropped down the drain. And if people had advertised that they'd lost something and there was a reward, then the Toshers would trade in. If they happened to find your pocket watch or something, they would collect the reward. And if there was no advertised reward for things, they would just sell them. So it was a way of making a living. Um, but there's a wonderful piece of folklore that's attached to the Toshers, which is called the Rat Queen. And there was a sort of urban legend of the time where um, gentlemen toshers were going down into the sewers and they were being met by a beautiful woman who seduced them and stole all of the treasure that they'd collected. And she turned into a vicious rat queen and overpowered them and attacked them. And it turned out she wasn't a beautiful woman at all. She was a real monster, and that's why they couldn't defend themselves and had to definitely run away. Um, and the truth of the matter came out that it was prostitutes who were hanging around in the sewers to lure these men, these very silly men who were very easily overpowered and
It wasn't my
really
fault. It
mean.
was a fantastical monster that overwhelmed me. I was absolutely not bamboozled and duped.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. I just love that. It's one of my favorite pieces of London folklore. So I'm basing a little adventure around that and attaching it to the game. So hopefully people have fun exploring that.
Sounds cool. I'm going to be checking out those links and all the romantasy games that come out. I'm glad to see that you're experimenting in that foray. And that's about it then. It's still June while we're recording, and I'm based in the Netherlands, and we celebrate a lot of Pride in August. So I didn't say it before. Happy Pride!
Oh, happy Pride! Yay!
Happy Pride to all the communities that are celebrating Pride. And as for celebrating Pride, please ensure that you're taking care of all the other marginalized communities within the bigger Pride tent. Our transgender friends, our POC, our people that need more access, that have additional accessibility needs. Please take care of them a little extra, and everyone else and all your friends.
Intersex
Have a wonderful
people. Big
time.
shout out to intersex people as well,
Yes,
especially.
absolutely. Everyone under a beautiful rainbow. And I'm going to let you go because there's some daylight, and maybe we're going to see a rainbow today based on the wonderful chat we had outside.
Oh, thank you so much, Ida. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for hosting this.
Likewise, thank you so much. And please be sure to follow Fabian, all the links listed below, and we'll see you around. Thanks for your support. Bye.